It's gonna be some stuff you're gonna see that's gonna make it hard to smile in the future. But through whatever you see, through all the rain and the pain, you gotta keep your sense of humor. You gotta be able to smile through all the keep your head up. Yeah.
Our lifestyles be closed caption, addicted to fatal attractions. Pictures and actions be played back in the midst of mashing. No fairy tales for this young black male. Some see me stranded in this land of hell, jail and crack sales. Hustling, hardly think of culture or the repercussions while busting on backstabbing vultures. Selling my soul for material wishes, fast cars and bitches. Wishing I lived my life a legend, immortalized in pictures. Watching tears say your sympathy. My childhood years were spent burying my peers in the cemetery. Here's a message to the newborns waiting to breathe. If you believe, then you can achieve. Just look at me, against all odds. Though life is hard, we carry on. Living in the projects, broke with no lights on. To all the seas that follow me, protect your essence. Born with less, but you still precious. Just smell for me now.
What's going on my mouse here? What it do, y'all? What it do, y'all? What's good, y'all? Salute King Ozma in the building. I see you, my brother. Shouts out to everybody. I'm your host with the motherfucking most chill motherfucking Murray. You are tuned in to the Live from the Spot podcast. Shout out to everybody tuning in or not tuning in. You know how we do and how we rock. I know I'm in the camera, but I'm not in the camera. All right. It's a little bit better. A little bit better. Now you can see my eyes and shit. I know I was hat low last time. And I was looking at that in the camera. I was like, well, goddamn. Did I just not move the camera back? But what it do, y'all? Happy Friday. I hope everybody's feeling good, feeling great, feeling gracious, happy to be alive. We have some things to talk about. We have some important topics to talk about. Important topic to talk about. That's what I wanted to say. We have an important topic to talk about, which is Project 2025. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but furthermore, I do want to say salute to everybody that was turning up the channel this past week with the podcast. I do thank all of y'all each and every time. That Drake clip turned up more than Nipsey, which was kind of crazy. I wasn't expecting to see almost 700 likes on that one, and then almost 400 comments. Like I said, shout out to everybody that turned up the pod this week. But I guess we're gonna get rid of silly before we get into serious. So where should we start first? I guess we can get into, the first thing we can get into is Essential C's girlfriend decided to address her breakup with Essential C. And it was funny how it happened, because she wanted to make a whole public service announcement and say that she was calling the police. Which I don't know why you saying you calling the police because your nigga got stolen. But just real quick, I guess we'll get into that there. So this is Central C's girlfriend here ranting about Ice Spice stealing Central C from her.
If this was gonna happened. Let me take you guys back a couple months. I'm laid up in bed with Pookie, and he comes to me and he's like, I have a new song to show you. And
With
I'm like,
Pookie?
yes, serenade me. I'm like ready to hear some poetry. And then he plays me his verse. I'm like, what the Not only did you just snitch on yourself that you're cheating, but you just told me exactly how. Give me your phone. You telling me ZK Trappy 69 with the wet emoji is not your childhood friend? He tells me it's just marketing and I know how the internet works, so I just forget about it. A while later, he tells me that he wants to hire an influencer to do like a lip syncing video to one of his older songs, and I'm like, okay, makes sense. Then he's like, I'm gonna send her a car because she asked for one. I was like, okay, makes sense. He didn't tell me he was sending her his personal car to start a dating rumor with her. I was with you guys, knees deep in.
So apparently, and then she just exposed it basically, this isn't really just cheating as much as it is how the industry actually works. So apparently what you're going to see happen right in front of you is what they call a publicity relationship. So Central C is going to be dating Ice Spice for these next coming months or however long. And this is pretty much to boost both of their situations. Central C is, of course, a very rising hip-hop star. He's very likable, this, that, and the third. Ice Spice, as you have just recently seen, is getting tired of shaking her ass. You can see it in her own face that she is tired of twerking. So what you have to do to raise the brand of an Ice Spice is to put her in some type of relationship because she has no fucking personality. So you get a person like Central C to start the dating rumor. So this is his girlfriend exposing that dating rumor coming to fruition.
That comment section asking if we were still together. I tried to have a conversation with him about it, and all he kept saying was, all right. No, I'm kidding, but seriously. I actually tried to understand what was going on, and nothing. At this point, I'm starting to realize, oh, this is why girls don't date rappers. So I call my team, and they're like, Madeline, he just started a dating rumor with another girl. Aren't you supposed to be going to Nigeria with him in 2 days? This is going to be multiple parts, sorry. I am this close to calling the police because that is a threat. He has had no direct access to me ever since that phone call. I'm thinking that this conversation is going to be our love, our relationship, so tell me why 10 hours later he's posted up with Patty. Guys, imagine you break up with your boyfriend one night and the next day he is posted up with Ice Spice in Chrome Hearts. I didn't even actually get to break up with him and he's already with the next girl. He gave me not even like 12 hours notice before he was being filmed in Chrome Hearts with her. The flight...
Actually, he did give you more than 12 hours notice. He gave you that notice when you looked in the phone. He gave you that notice when you realized the personal call got sent to Ice Spice. So you had way more than 12 hours notice. It just wasn't within your 12 hours notice of you trying to make up your breakup plan. He was already done with your ass.
From America is 12 hours. She was already on the f***ing plane. Hey, woman to woman, what did he get you from Chrome Hearts? Because all I ever got was a tank top. So yet again, I am in the comment section with you guys. Such is a bop. This is 4 days until my birthday. When I saw him in her comment section like that, I tweeted so that I was gonna put this screenshot on my story. I thought Rapper Boyfriend was at least considerate enough to let me have my birthday week, and then I see them at the club on the 6th of July. My birthday's on the 7th. You guys remember when he made me pay for my own birthday ticket into the zoo? At least I this year. That is why my friends had to turn up to my house in gorilla suits the day of my birthday, because I had just woken up to a video of him with a big booty baddie in the club. They literally had to drag me out of my house. This man has since emailed me, called my mum, tried to follow my friends on Instagram. You get the gist. So it wasn't that much of a surprise when I get a call from his team, and it's a girl on the end of the phone saying, first and foremost, I'm a girl's girl. Cough twice if he is holding you hostage, otherwise I need you to put down the phone. So his team is calling me, trying to convince me to have a conversation with him, and they're trying to tell me like he had no control over this, and I'm trying to get the point across. It doesn't matter if he had control or not. Why the f*** was I told 12 hours before it happened?
So it sounds like to me, and this is just my hops, right? It sounds like to me that before Ice Spice, this chick was basically the main girl to get him, quote unquote, not popping, but to help his brand. This was the girl that was I guess the girlfriend that was to, quote unquote, help his brand be a little bit better. And because I keep hearing her say the words, my team, my team, my team. And then she's exposing the fact that he's starting a dating rumor with Ice Spice. Now, this could just be some crazy stalker chick. This might not even be Central C's actual girlfriend. But it does sound legitimate as far as the fact that she's exposing the rumor of Ice Spice and him starting to date. That is really the importance of this part. Is that she's exposing the fact that now, of course, we see the video come out with Ice Spice and Central C, which I'm not going to play it here, of course. But there is a video that just came out with Central C and Ice Spice. And of course, like I said before, this is mainly to boost Ice Spice's career more than it is to boost Central C's. If what she is talking about is legitimately true. This is more so to boost Ice Spice. This is not to necessarily boost Central C. It can help both of their careers, but this is more so about boosting, like I said, Ice Spice than anything, because she has no personality. She has no real brand besides saying she is the shit and you're not even the fart. That's all Ice Spice really has. So to put some type of relationship behind her and some type of story to talk about, if you will. Remember, her album recently went double wood. Okay, so she needs something as far as album sales to go. She needs something to sell on. And hopefully the Central C thing actually helps her out. I don't see it happening, but maybe it will. Maybe she'll have something to talk about on her future project. Maybe Central C will be cheating. Maybe whatever have you. Whatever have you. Like I said, we're getting rid of the silly before we get to the serious. Anywho, the other thing we need to get into was Drake. And this is probably one of the last times we're gonna talk about this gentleman for a little bit while, because at this point I'm getting annoyed at him. At this point I'm getting annoyed at Drake. Reason why, and you can't even say, this is one of those things where you can't say that Drake is a Scorpio. First of all, he's gonna always be petty. He is going to always be petty. Oh yeah, rap is over. Rap is over. I definitely agree with that part. Rap is over. A lot of music is over. A lot of music is over. The value of it is gone. The value of it is gone. That's why you're seeing this beef just being extended the way it is. But we have the petty Scorpio here, and fans allegedly think that he has been trolling Kendrick with this new wife beater OVO merch, right? Now, it is not so much the wife beater OVO merch as much as it is, if you look at this picture right here, remember this is Whitney from the Not Like Us video. I'm going to go to the actual Instagram. This is October's very own Instagram. I'm going to go back to that picture. Notice a very big similarity here. The hoodie with the tank top, the hair, hell, almost down to the nose ring. But no, not the nose ring, not there. Okay. So, light-skinned girl, curly hair, hoodie, white t-shirt. Light-skinned girl, curly hair, t-shirt, hoodie. That's the actual trolling. I don't think it was necessarily the wife beater trolling as much as it was this particular look of the trolling. The Whitney lookalike for your merch advertisement 2 days ago. Now, of course, like I said, this is the wife beater here that they're advertising. And of course, they're trying to troll Kendrick with the whole wife beater thing, saying that he allegedly his wife. But again, this is one of those things where you start to say, Drake, why? You've already lost. There's been a whole hip-hop parade of you losing. The entire industry could not wait to see you lose. Yet, you are still continuing to take L after L after L every week. and then you go ahead and do this. Right. Drake knows how to take everything but the L. This is coming from his own IG, his own merch IG. Okay? Crafted for confidence. There's more coming soon. Crafted for confidence, you say. But, like I said, to have, like I said, the trolling. Is the trolling of the Whitney lookalike more so than it is the actual wife beater that I found intriguing here. The fact that you still keep trying to antagonize this man's wife. I don't understand why you keep wanting to antagonize him or his wife. Like, why can't you leave the wife alone? Why can't you leave the happy family and situation alone? That's my thing. At this point, it's just done, Drake. It's done. You doing shit like this, like I said, you don't get no points. You don't get no brownie points from anybody with this one. Ha ha he he. I get it. You got the Whitney lookalike. But it would be funny if you actually, got some actual hits off in the fight. But you got your ass whipped. You didn't exactly win this fight too well. I mean, just say you didn't exactly fight in this one too well. You got your ass knocked out. This was Craig versus Debo. And we saw what Craig did to Debo. So, Debo need to get on his bike and get the fuck out of here at this point. That is my take on, hopefully for a while, on BBL Drizzy. Honestly, that was another thing too. Central C's girlfriend, real quick. I thought this was who it was at first. I thought it was Natalie Portman. I didn't necessarily think it was even whatchamacallit, his actual girlfriend or whatever. But now we need to get into, because like I said, I wanted to get rid of the silly before we got into the serious. I needed to get rid of the silly before we got to the serious. Nothing at all. You missed nothing at all, Fairby. You missed nothing at all. Really, we quickly addressed, and I mean quickly, because Central C's ex-girlfriend wanted to expose the fact that there was a relationship with Ice Spice, and Drake is being petty, as a petty Scorpio is. That's all. That's all. Nothing else. But now we will get into what we are here for. So, what you are looking at right here is the website created by the Republican team titled Biden Bloodbath. You are reading it correctly. BidenBloodbath.com. Biden is aiding and abetting an invasion. Instead of protecting Americans, he is prioritizing illegal aliens over U.S. citizens. Interesting. That someone would say that, right? But then you have, like I said, his speech down here, and it says Biden's disastrous border policies have aided and abetted an invasion in our country. Now, what's he actually talking about here? He's trying to say that immigrants are just taking over the country, right? You have this, a vote for Biden is a vote for an invasion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me further say that when you are, see, the reason why he had to switch it up and say that it was just about an invasion is because his fellow ally recently took it upon himself to start to say that we are starting an American Revolution. Excuse me, a second American Revolution. And not a lot of people, not a lot of people liked what he was saying with that. Because it sounded like an actual open threat to the American public. In which it sounded like you are saying, if Trump does not win the election, we literally are going to be in civil war. Now, I went on this podcast beforehand and said this. But, of course, when I say it, at the time, it is just hearsay. Right? When I say it at the time, it is just, oh, is it actually going to happen? That type of thing. Yes, investigations from the UK have definitely outed us. Amongst other things, you could pretty much say Putin having his foot up Trump's ass majority of the time. And even when he was president, that was evident. On top of the fact that you have people saying, okay, vote for the lesser of two evils, right? Which we get that part. However, if you vote for one, and I said this in the post, you vote for one, you vote for Biden, we get civil war. We vote for Donald Trump, we get complete dictatorship and full run of a new Reagan era in Project 2025. So, which one do you actually want to happen is the crazier question to ask yourself. It's the most fucked up version of take it or leave it I've ever heard in my entire life. Literally. War if one wins. Dictatorship if the other wins. War if one wins. Bloodshed if one wins. And war on an entire races, among other things, if the other wins.
Leaders on the right are applauding the Supreme Court's ruling on presidential immunity, including the president of the Heritage Foundation, who says that it's vital to getting the country back, as he gives an ominous warning to the left. Listen.
In spite of all this nonsense from the left, we are going to win. We're in the process of taking this country back. We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
CNN's Kristen Holmes is here. So, Kristen, help us understand what that Second American Revolution...
That was Kevin Rogers. That was fucking Kevin Rogers. That's his name, right? Kevin Rogers, I believe. I kept trying to look at Kevin Roberts. Excuse me. Kevin Roberts is his name. Dr. Kevin Roberts. And Dr. Kevin Roberts has pretty much been in the news lately for this. We are getting ready to have a second American Revolution speech he had. But saying that there won't be bloodshed as long as the left side allows it. Like, how blatant could you be saying, yo, if Trump don't win, we're just going to rage war in the streets. We're just going to purge. That's basically what he was fucking saying. If Trump don't win, we're going to purge. We're going to purge and everybody's going to die anyway. But if he does win, you guys get to at least be under a dictatorship to where what he says goes. Excuse me? Fucking excuse me? And that is why it's important today for us to talk about Project 2025. Because Project 2025 is mainly about the changing of the Constitution. It's about the whole restructure of the Constitution. Now, if you remember, the same thing happened with the Reagan era. Fortunately, it did not go well. So we started getting presidents like Bill Clinton to make America look good again. We got Obama, once again, to help us look good again. But in between that, we got Bush, because they tried the Reagan shit again. In between that, we got Bush. And we all know what happened with Bush. George Bush doesn't care about black people. So, now, another 10 years or 20 years pass. We'll try this shit again, right? Let's try this again. Let's try it again. With a president that we notice now, the president has to be likable to a certain degree, right? The president just has to be likable. And if the president is likable, maybe we'll be able to finally get off what the policies that we're trying to change and the Constitution that we're trying to change and the amendments we're trying to remove, the Bill of Rights we're trying to remove. Maybe we can get all this shit done if we get somebody that's likable in office, right? Thus, we get the nigga that was the CEO of The Apprentice. We get someone that is, I don't know how many bankruptcies in. My God, I don't even want to count. I don't want to Google it. Matter of fact, yeah. How many times has Donald Trump filed for bankruptcy? In, my goodness, Donald Trump bankruptcies. How many times? I want to see how many. Six times. Examining Donald Trump, Chapter 11. Okay, yes, he's done about the 6 different times. No, 7th. Excuse me. As of 2020, he was up to 7. So we are now having a felony convicted 7-time champion of bankruptcy run for president of the United States of America. Let me take myself off this camera right here. I'm going to say this again as this gentleman's face is on the screen. We have a 7-time champion of bankruptcy. Okay? And a now convicted felon running for our United States presidency. If that don't tell you that the country is going to complete shit, I don't know what else does. I do not know what else does. So, without further ado, I would like to bring to you this young lady here. Matter of fact, let me properly address things here. Let me properly address this. So I want to give good credit here. Deja Shade. I believe Deja Shade sings, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look up something real quick. Shade. I think she does. I thought she did. Okay, she doesn't do music. I thought she did some type of music, but she does remind me of someone that is in La Russell's camp that does music. Anyway, Deja Shade actually did a great breakdown of what Project 2025 is, and I'm going to be helping along with that full breakdown as she does do it. But I want, like I said, everyone to be
Project
more
2025,
informed.
the conservative leadership mandate, is literally a 900-page document that details the plan for the first 180 days of a conservative presidency.
All right, let's bring it back a little bit just in case you guys missed what she
Project
said.
2025, the conservative leadership mandate, is literally a 900-page document that details the plan for the first 180 days of a conservative presidency.
So, in case you missed what she just said, basically, Project 2025 is going to be the first 180 days of whoever. So, get that part through your head, too. It ain't really about Trump necessarily getting this. this shit might get implemented whether Trump go into presidency or not. I think that's the part everybody needs to start to realize. This policy might go into play whether Trump win or not. And I think that's why they're trying to say that Trump, without trying to say, I should say, they're trying to tell you without trying to say that Trump is going to win the election. Before it gets too crazy out there with the whole war on the streets thing and the Trump supporters, they're going to make it look like, they're going to put it like this. They're going to find a way to manipulate it to where Trump wins so that they can have the reason to implement the Project 2025, right? In those first 180 days, this is basically that policy. It's 900 pages, so of course you don't think the average person is going to pick up a book or even read 900 fucking pages. But I implore all of you to get you a copy of Project 2025. Now, it is actually, I did try already. I did look into it, I should say. It is actually illegal right now, unfortunately, to actually show that documentation on here right now, right? You can show examples of, but you cannot show the actual documentation, unfortunately. So they're already causing loopholes with that type of shit.
Well, actually, Project 2025 is way more than just a document. It's an extremely organized, built-out strategy based on 4 pillars. Pillar number 1 is this. This book is called A Policy Agenda. Mandate for Leadership, The Conservative Promise. Think of this as the policy Bible. I did not come up with that name. The entire book's sole purpose...
Think about how she just said that too, though. The policy Bible. So this is basically what they're going to be living by.
Is reshaping federal policy and shifting societal norms in America to align almost exclusively with conservative values. Pillar number 2 is a personnel database where conservative scholars, academics, and policy experts are being compiled. Think about this pillar like a conservative-only LinkedIn. The authors of this policy set a goal to have at least 20,000 recruits already built into the personnel database as a way to have a readily available pool of ideologically aligned people to pull from when it comes to filling all of the positions.
So think about this, right? You see how she just said that, though? People that ideological thoughts are the same, basically. So people that think alike as far as the political views and what should happen, what we should be against, what we should not be against, who is basically going to be against our policies, who's going to be against our rulings and things of that nature. They want to have a complete database of those types of people. So think about the things that you say, for a perfect example, right? Our emails. Think about how much they track the information of our emails, right? That personal database. That personal database that's contrived of all of our social securities and things like that, that follows those actual emails, right? Follow me here. Think about the things that you post on your Instagram and your Facebook. Those things are heavily being looked at. We already know that. We already know Facebook police and Instagram police, social media police in general. But what if I was to tell you that they have actual people in the government that are assigned to social media accounts? So within that personal database, they are able to tell you, okay, this person is pro-Trump, this person is pro-Biden, just for shits and giggles examples, right? But further advancement of that information would be, oh, this person is a little bit racist. He doesn't really like black people. We should put him in here. This person is, pretty much conservative. Let's put him over here. This person is Democrat. Let me put him over here. You see what I'm getting at here? This person actually says, okay, we like the policies. Let's put him over here. This person says that they're against the policies. Let's put them over here. Now, what could end up happening is that personnel that says we like the policy, those same people Think about how when you're waiting on a certain check to come in the mail and you see such and such Joe Schmo across the street got it because he said he liked the policy. See what I'm getting at here? Certain things like that could be happening under a dictatorship. It's any fucking thing goes as far as the dictator says it goes. That's what that personal database is going to be about mainly. It's going to be personal. It's going to be who kisses the most ass of the policy.
Positions that they plan to create, fill, or vacate when taking the reins of the government. Again, these are their words, not mine. And they're doing this as a way to streamline the confirmation process. Make sure that there are zero hiccups. Pillar number 3 is their Presidential Administration Academy. It's an online educational system of training programs specifically for those potential employees under the role of a conservative president. Again, the goal here is speed. They want the ability to just plug and play. Pillar number 4 outlines the transition plans in a 180-day playbook. The 180-day playbook is driven by the policy agenda itself. And so if the policy agenda is the guidebook, then think of the 180-day playbook as the roadmap. These 4 pillars together are what makes up Project 2025. Okay. Thank you. Now.
So, Dante, funny you said that. And that just correlates exactly with what I just said before. The Heritage Foundation are the same people who did Obamacare. Right? So, again, this Project 2025, it don't matter who running for president. This shit getting implemented regardless is what people need to understand.
I know what Project 2025 means, Deja, but why should I even care about this? What does the conservative promise even mean? Why are you bringing this up? Well, my curious friend, I'm glad you asked. The average age of an empire is 250 years. Can you guess where we are on the calendar? It's okay. Pause this video for a second and do some math from 1776. And then I want you to do with that information what you will.
What needs to be done with that information is if you are, put it like this. If you do remember 1776, who came out, who was from 1776? Let me see who in the chat real quick. Let me see in the chat real quick who remembers got founded in 1776. Who got founded in 1776? It's on the American dollar. Nunc Conceptus. Right? Okay. So, who got founded in 1776? Or should I say, what establishment? This is why she's emphasizing that 1776. What establishment actually got founded? Besides that, give you a better one. I'll give you an even better one. I'll give you a much better one. Who got established in 1776? Oop. I thought I had it up there. See, I can see a little bit better. That's who got established in 1776. A lot of, yes, all of that. A lot of that was established in the early times, yes. But, yeah, mainly them. They have been trying to put their policies in place since they were founded. So, that is what Miss Deja is referring to when she means that these policies were trying to be put in place from a long time ago. Yes. Specifically hippie. Them.
I've been reading this book for the past 3 months, and it's made me realize something interesting, and it's that there are 3 major factions in this space. Conservatives, Republicans, and the Christian right. That's who we need to watch for. I know I'm telling them. That's who we need to be afraid of. They are all different, and it's important to note that they don't always agree. But for the most part, the purpose of this project is to make sure that everyone who identifies with conservative values, meaning on a basic level they share advocacy for limited government, upholding traditional values, supporting national defense and free market principles, is aligned with the 4 conservative promises that are made in this book. The project itself is spearheaded by a conservative think tank known as the Heritage Foundation. Chances are, if there's some major conservative push for a form of legislation, you can bet your bottom dollar that the Heritage Foundation has their hands in it. Everything is in here. They liken transgenderism to pornography and go so far as to say that anybody, even teachers who are distributing types of media that detail this type of pornography, should be jailed and registered as sex offenders.
Now, I remember that too, reading that in the policy. They're trying to remove pornography. They're trying to make it so it's illegal to even to watch it. They're trying to ban it from being made. All that. They're trying to make it the way it is completely illegal. XXX is going to be X the fuck out completely. And anyone remotely even teaching about or giving any type of sexual education is going to be also reprimanded. So think about that. You can't even teach sex ed anymore. So nobody's going to be learning about pregnancy. Nobody's going to be learning about how production happens, reproduction happens with human beings. No one's going to be learning about sex at all. Diseases, HIV, AIDS, those things. You can't teach any of those things.
Teachers. While the plan definitely criticizes the normalization of transgenderism, it's important to understand that this is a part of a larger, broader agenda to control cultural and educational narratives. The authors see it as restoring the family as the centerpiece of American life and protecting our children.
As restoring the family. Yeah, that damn family. Restoring the family. Funny how you just said that, Ozma. That damn family. They're trying to restore the family back to its original traditions of things. And notice how you see the news clippings here of all the mass shootings and killings that have happened over the past, 10 to 15 years that have just been frequent. I mean, fucking frequent as far as the mass shootings that have been happening. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Has any of those shooters, and I mean any, has any of those mass shootings involved anybody black? I'll stop this pod right now. I rest my case. And it's not even about the part of that, but us as a race. It's just the fact that there's an agenda. There is an agenda to remove a certain race. We'll say it like that.
The way that they plan on doing that is to remove content that is deemed inappropriate by a reasonable person from schools and libraries and only allow materials that reflect conservative values. There's a new bill in West Virginia that says librarians can be charged if it's found that they shelve educational content or books that they've deemed inappropriate. And there's some people who think that this bill will keep kids safe, but there are others that are worried librarians, teachers, education providers run the risk of being charged or getting blamed unfairly just for having a wide array of books available, which could include useful educational content. This personally stresses me out because I hate the thought of librarians being afraid to offer certain material affecting what I have the ability to read or learn about. Several states have already either removed criminal liability exemptions for public and school libraries, or they've already started expanding the definition of what they see as obscenity to capture a wider array of books.
Now, that's another interesting thing. So remember, I spoke about that specifically real quick, right? In the Kendrick Lamar Not Like Us video, there was it looked like it was a town hall meeting, and there was the quiet passing of the Bible. Like Shorty passed the Bible off, but she tucked it and gave it to Kendrick, and Kendrick just tucked it and started rapping again. That was basically subliminal to what she is actually talking about. That's going to be coming up soon, where they're going to make it illegal for you to even learn about religion. They're going to make it illegal for you to even learn about your fucking self and where you came from. Because it could be damaging or offensive to other people. Let me see if I can find that real quick. So, I had pulled up a article I'm about to teach you. Okay, yeah. So, right here. Right? Perfect example. Perfect example. And I'll bring it up over here real quick. This teacher taught students about their constitutional rights, and less than 2 months later, her role was terminated. Earlier this year, Austin Independent School District teacher Sophia De Loreto Schutte said she was pulled into a check-in meeting with school administration over a list of concerns. Most notably among them, we've noticed an intentional attempt in teaching your students about their legal and constitutional rights. I'm going to emphasize that part again. We've noticed an intentional attempt in teaching your students about their legal constitutional rights. She got fired for trying to teach students their rights. Correct me if I'm fucking wrong, but ain't the Bill of Rights part of history class? So how in the hell does she get terminated for teaching about the constitutional rights? You learn about the amendments in history. Hell, you learn about the amendments in English sometimes. I was in, I think, the 4th damn grade when I started learning about. How is it now it's illegal for you to teach children about their constitutional rights? This is where we are headed, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we are headed.
That could potentially result in criminal charges for simply having them on the shelves. Imagine your health teacher being arrested for teaching sex ed. Please don't think this is coming. This is already happening. If you're worried about the lack of action on climate change, it's because they're already focusing on how they can benefit from things like permafrost.
Now, funny she's getting into weather control, right? So part of Project 2025 is, of course, the manipulation of the environment. Not just the fucking weather anymore. It's the complete manipulation of the entire environment that we are in. So, remember when some of y'all, if y'all want, go back and look at when I broke down Project Bluebeam. Okay, I broke down Project Bluebeam because within Project Bluebeam, we were talking about how that augmented reality face started to show in the moon. There was a whole, I think you could probably still, if you go outside about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, look by the moon, you probably still see the fucking face. It's still there. But there was a whole thing going on for about like a week or a month or so, back in April and March, where everyone was going outside to see this huge fucking gray face on the moon, or next to the moon rather, and people couldn't figure out what the hell it was. People was saying, "Oh, they're here. It's aliens." It was Project Bluebeam. It was them playing with the augmented reality. Now, reason why I'm talking about this in regards to the weather is because how Project Bluebeam is going to be manipulated is through the chemtrails. Now, if you guys don't realize, what you see in the air, you know those streaks that you see going across the sky and whatnot? That's chemtrails. Now, funny thing is, Prince talked about it on Arsenio Hall, where he talked about his father telling him about the chemtrails, and that's how he stumbled upon what they actually were. So the chemtrails are actually what the I forgot what it's called, but it's a certain chemical that is within the chemtrails that actually helps the manipulation of the weather. And it actually can cause precipitation. It actually can stop precipitation. But it's one of those things that actually is helping us have more or less a LED screen in the sky, to where they can make it look like it's snowing. They can make it look like it's sunny. It can be raining. If it's your favorite celebrity's birthday and they want it to be a good day, damn it, it's going to be a good sunny day with no type of rain or sleet or snow. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think a lot of you have already noticed that we have fake fucking snow. We do not have real snow. We have not had real snow in almost a decade. We have never, ever said anything in regards to us having fake snow. But we can easily say that we know where that is actually even coming from, right? Look at this here, for example. When she's talking about in regards to the weather. So think about this, right? You've already heard about this happening. Remember this? Remember when they said this bullshit? The U.S. Senate approves bill to make daylight saving times permanent. Remember that dumb shit? And you were saying to yourself, well, how are they going to make daylight saving times permanent? They don't control the sun. Well, they were trying to actually tell you that they do. They were trying to tell you that, once again, the sky that we have around us is nothing more right now than an LED screen that they can make and manipulate right in front of your fucking face. How can they do it? They've been doing it for a long time. And as you can see here, this was established back in 1993. This is called HAARP. High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program is what they call it. But as you can see here, most prominent instrument at HAARP is the Ionospheric Research Instrument, a high-power radio frequency transmitter facility operating in the high-frequency band. The IRI is used to temporarily excite a limited area of ionosphere. Now, what does that actually mean? If you have fields of this shit, right, and it can control the area of it can control certain areas of the sky, right? Or should I say control one of the main components of the weather, the ionosphere, right? If its main thing is, if the HAARP's main thing is to control what is in the ionosphere, and like I said, you have literally fields of this shit, wouldn't you be able to do what you want to do with the sky? Right? You pretty much can do whatever you would like all over the entire world, right? If you have fields of this shit in certain places. I started noticing behind a lot of the chemical plants, King, you probably, Ozma, you probably have seen these in Louisiana and thought that they were just part of the plant. But that is one of those things, HAARP is one of those things that have been hiding in plain sight right in front of us since 1993. And it's one of the biggest ways that they have manipulated the weather. Right in front of our noses.
Not a priority. How can we make money off of this?
In fact, Project 2025 explicitly aims to end all current climate change efforts. It's advocating for a complete reversal of initiatives like the Paris Climate Change Agreement. It goes real hard about making sure that we know that America's energy interests are going to take a huge priority over any environmental concerns. This plan includes everything, including ways to expand operations in places like Alaska in order to better harvest its rare earths, natural gases, and oils. It even includes plans about Antarctica, where the authors plan on capitalizing on things like shipping and tourism in the area. It'll be a no-going-back shift towards fully exploiting natural resources for economic growth, as well as abandoning pretty much all climate change mitigation efforts.
So think about that particular thing there, right? If you're removing natural resources and so-called, quote-unquote, thinking about energy resources, right? That just tells me that you're going to do more of an increase in pollution. That's all that tells me there. And if you're doing an increase in pollution, then movies like The Terminator and The Matrix, which were, I believe, predictive programming for what's coming forth anyway in the future, you are literally telling us that the sky is going to pretty much be black with all this pollution. That is what I'm hearing here. the sky is pretty much going to be black with all the pollution if they're going to start making energy a huge concern, if you will. Now, I could be wrong, and they could just start supplying, demanding more Tesla trucks. But last time I checked, Elon and Trump ain't get along.
I'm going to quote the policy agenda directly here for a second, which refers to environmental extremism as anti-human. Environmental ideologues would ban the fuels that run most of the world's cars, planes, factories, farms, and electricity grids. Abandoning confidence in human resilience and creativity in responding to the challenge of the future would raise impediments to the most meaningful human activities. They would stand human affairs on their head, regarding human activity itself as fundamentally a threat to be sacrificed to the God of nature. My problem here is it's not that they don't believe in you, brother. I personally, no doubt about it in my mind, believe in human resilience and creativity. It's actually that I just have much more faith in the power of greed. And this here assumption denies the reality of unsustainability. It pushes for the U.S. to remove itself from any association with the UN or any other efforts to create sustainable development priorities, especially those that are connected to food production. And that.
So pretty much Project 2025 is mainly about isolating ourselves. And I can actually confirm what she's saying by, if you notice the past few UN meetings, who's pretty much been outed the whole goddamn time as the bad guy in the fucking room. It's always been us, no pun intended. It has always been us looking at where the Joker in the fucking room around a bunch of Batmans. That's literally what the Americans, that's literally what America looks like when we go to the fucking UN. We look like Joker, a bunch of Batmans and damn council.
It just seems way more anti-human to me. Or maybe it's that it was both 8 degrees and 80 degrees in January this year. But alas, I know nothing. And I'm sure the planet's fine.
Think about what she just said. I'm going to run it back what she just said.
It's that it was both 8 degrees and 80 degrees in January this year.
It was both 8 degrees and 80 degrees in the same month. And that, again, we can all attest to the manipulation of the weather. For it to be completely cold at one point, damn near at freezing level, to it to suddenly rise to a spring weather, almost summer-like weather, and then go back to normal temperatures, quote-unquote, it back to being cold in January. That definitely raises the rock eyebrow, if you will.
But alas, I know nothing. And I'm sure the planet's fine. They're trying to get rid of all DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion language from all legislature, all of it, except for religion. They want vast, robust protections for religion. Yes, the goal is to eliminate what they see as indoctrination from anti-American woke revolutionaries, divisive critical race theory programs, and DEI initiatives from all educational and governmental institutions. The authors believe that talking about race in nearly all capacities creates an inferiority complex. This is again a part of a larger effort to promote a conservative agenda and push certain conservative perspectives, ideals, and values. Some of the recommendations the authors provide include vast protections for religion and religious tax exemptions.
So, real quick, speak on that real quick, right? Do y'all remember when Kanye was... Well, Kanye recently just talked about he was be retiring from music. Funny thing is, remember when Kanye first started doing the gospel music and everybody was like, oh, he's just doing it for tax purposes. Oh, he's just doing it for this, that, and the third. It's, oh, just blah, blah, blah. Around that same time, you had, and I think they're going to show him here in a second here, the rich pastor that pretty much was buying up a whole bunch of shit, and when he bought the jet, he was like, oh, God told me to buy that jet. God told me to buy that jet. Look at the super churches that are emerging.
In what timeline should we have pastors whose net worth is close to $1 billion?
He made that airplane so cheap for me, I could.
Yeah, this guy. He made that airplane so cheap for me. God made it so cheap for me to buy. I had to get it. God told me to buy that airplane. God told me to buy this private jet. God told me we needed a huge stadium with lights and dancers and singers. God told me we need to pass around a bigger collection plate. People need to pay memberships and fees to get into the big show of the Church of the Lord. Excuse me? That's what she's referring to. The huge raise on you having these big fake ass businesses that don't mean nothing just so you can make $1 off America. Because it's going to be all about who's hustling the hardest and the erase of the middle class, the raise of the high class, and the demolishing of the poor class. That is what Project 2025 is about mainly.
Help but buy it.
It calls for issuing executive orders banning the use of equity-focused language, basically throughout all instances of public office and private sectors. It also calls for Congress passing a law prohibiting the federal government from using taxpayer dollars to fund critical race theory training. This is already happening. There's a venture capitalist fund called the Fearless Fund that was created solely to fill the gap of less than 1% of venture capital recipients being Black women, despite Black women being the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. The group has been hit with a lawsuit from the conservative group American Alliance for Equal Rights. They aim to bleed the fund dry, and it's working. It's working as intended. Do you also find it funny that there were no lawsuits presented when less than 1% of the population was being provided the same opportunities as other populations? I find it funny, but not like in a ha-ha way. Like in a, I don't really want to tell you what to think, but maybe.
I will. The fact that they pretty much are defunding the educational system, because it goes all the way back to what we said in the very beginning. They don't necessarily want you to learn how to be better. With them being able to control your education, control the books that you are able to read, control the knowledge that you are able to obtain, that is how they are able to still keep you that low on the totem pole. That's pretty much what this is about. By them defunding education and cutting costs and corners with that, they are able to, of course, now make it so the rich and the wealthy, again, don't have to pay those much higher taxes, unfortunately. It all comes down to the damn tax.
Think on that for a second, kind
That shouldn't even be.
of way. To me, this begs the question of how do inferiority complexes come into play, while simultaneously being torn down by parties who have a vested interest in demonstrating superiority? Most people just have to go up against their inner critic to get things done. We should be able to acknowledge that some Americans are playing bootstrapping on X Games mode. That's where you have entire establishments standing on your straps. First and foremost, the U.S. must prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear technology and delivery capabilities and more broadly block Iranian ambition. While focusing on foreign policy, specifically on the broader Middle Eastern strategy, Project 2025 pushes for a continuation of conservative emphasis on national security and energy dominance.
Now, funny she said that part right there in particular, right? Who's going through it right now? Iran, right? Iran been going through it. And correct me if I'm wrong, I do remember them saying in Revelations that once shit hits the fan with Iran, it's all the way up with U.S. It's all the way up. It's already been, put it like this, we already been walking the tightrope, and we already done slipped and hit our nuts quite a few times on this tightrope with Iran. And any day now, Iran could just, we tired of your shit. Tired of your shit. Tired of your bullshit promises. Tired of all this shit. It's up. It's up. And when that up happened, that's World War III for that ass.
The policy agenda specifically states that if an internal organization is effective and advances American interests, then the U.S. should support it. If an international organization is not effective and does not advance American interests, then the U.S. will not support it. Make no mistake here. This is important for you to understand as an American. There is a commitment to supporting allies like Israel, no matter which president we have. We already know that this is a strategic priority focused exclusively on maintaining influence and access to resources in the region. Policy agenda also...
And furthermore, I want to also say that in particular is probably the hugest slap in the face that you could possibly do. Like I said, at the UN, is saying, look, I don't give a shit what you talking about. If it ain't got nothing to do with what's helping America, fuck off. That's basically what she said Project 2025 is about. If whatever China or France, whoever the fuck have you, hey, yo, we need such and such to keep up the dollars over here. We need this, that. Nigga, what that got to do with what I got to going on? What that ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China? What you got going on ain't got nothing to do with benefiting me in the U.S. right now. Shoo fly, shoo. Bye, Felicia. That's pretty much what this Project 2025 is about. It's telling the entire rest of the country, if you're not helping the U.S., bye, Felicia.
Calls for the Palestinian Authority to be defunded, as well as prioritizing keeping Turkey in the Western fold as a NATO ally to prevent any hedging towards Russia or China. When it comes to Africa, the authors of the policy recognizes the abundance of resources that Africa offers.
After I liberate the Jewish people, I will go to Africa to help liberate the black people.
It also recognizes that lately, as Africa's strategic influence has grown, U.S. influence there has declined.
Sub-Saharan Africa has been fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. Okay? And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow Sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay? We do everything to keep Sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished.
You heard it right there. We do all we can to keep Africa in poverty. Excuse me? We do all we can to make sure that Africa and Nigeria stay in poverty because they have a role to play. The fuck are you trying to say?
Absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay?
So they want to shift their strategy from assistance to growth. Some of the tactics that they want to use to do this include phasing out humanitarian aid, the recognition of Somaliland statehood, and a focus on supporting American companies that are involved in industries that are important to America's interests, or those that already have a competitive advantage in Africa. To combat African-based terror groups like Boko Haram, the authors recommend that the U.S. support capable African military and security operations to provide foreign military education, training, weapons, and security assistance. This is just the tip of the iceberg of foreign policy. Side note, did you know that America has almost 800 military bases in over 70 countries and territories while having no foreign military bases on its soil? I found that quite interesting. Onward.
Understand what that means, though.
Is because this isn't the first time it's happened. The first time they actually...
So understand what that even means, right? 800 bases alone, but we ain't got nothing on foreign soil except if you want to count fucking Hawaii or Alaska. That don't really count. That's all shit. But we ain't got no bases in Japan. Or should I say, we ain't got no bases in France. Let me say a better one. We ain't got no bases in China. No damn American bases in China. But China could bring their ass over here and practice a little bit. They ain't gonna do it. But at the same time, what she's trying to say is, We got friends that don't even fuck with us like that. We have allies that we cannot rely on too heavily.
Who laid out a plan like this was with Reagan, and they were able to enact 60% of what they wanted achieved based upon having it all laid out already. 60% of Reaganomics was already laid out.
60% of the Reagan era's doctrine and ideologies were already implemented into the government. Already. Reaganomics was by far the worst presidential resume in history. That Reagan era was literal hell for the United States. Literal hell. Ran by damn near Satan himself. That was the Reagan era. Nobody wanted to keep Ronald Reagan in office. Nobody. And then, like I said before, for us to get years later, we got a second attempt at that shit with George Bush. And it did not go over well. So they said, hey, we need to find somebody electable. And thus, we got Trump.
Out. Indeed, Reaganomics was trash. But do you know what's even more trash-like in nature? The realization that the Reagan administration's success in implementing such a large chunk of the ideas from Mandate for Leadership showcases the impact of them having such detailed planning. 60% of Reaganomics was all it took for us to arrive here, still waiting for our trickles. The middle class all but disappearing into an in-between space where American and blue-collar workers are paying higher tax rates than billionaires. This is why we're talking about this today, class, because this isn't just a bunch of fanatics writing manifestos.
That's the
Don't
wow
be
right
so dismissive.
there. That is the wow right there that people need to realize, right? So imagine that. Imagine you only making about 50 or 60,000 a year. But you getting taxed on more shit than the guy with the $1 million crib? I'm being taxed more making $50,000 a year than the guy that can make $500,000 a year. That's pretty much what's being said here. That would make me want to hurt somebody. I'm just being honest with you.
Getting put on game up front. Project 2025 aims to replicate that success. But peep this. You don't need a time machine or a flux capacitor to take you back to dropkick baby Reagan into another profession to undo the damage done by his administration, because you have this book that is highlighting the strategic importance of these documents and the impact that they have in shaping conservative administrations. It's right here. It's right in front of us. You know in the movies when one of the main characters is geeked to unveil their plan to take over the world and then they start monologuing? This is the monologue. This is the monologue.
What she means by that is in every single action movie you can think of where there is a hero and villain concept, the villain always keeps his shit hidden until the very last conversation, to where he just tells every fucking thing for no apparent reason. He wants to give you the Netflix documentary, and everything he's planning on doing, he wants to tell you now. As he's going to try to defeat you, he's going to tell you everything. The villain is going to tell you everything all of a sudden at the last second. Think about what I just said. The villain is going to hold his tea and wait to tell it to you at the last second. We're at that last second. The president's withholding tea from us. That is what I'm getting at.
It's even more frightening because
there is an attack on education, an uneducated population, you are able to sway consistently with propaganda. To be fair, I actually like the idea of transferring education to the states in principle, but in actuality, it also makes me wonder, if every state's allowed to teach something different, how will we ever close the gap on the very real problem that is America's revisionist history? Also, it makes me wonder about if you're in a poorer state with lower home ownership. Less home ownership means less property taxes, which funds schools. How might that impact the quality of the education you receive overall? This one is for extra credit. Take this time to guess how the top 10 poorest states in the nation tend to vote. The policy agenda calls for changes to ensure that schools comply with the colorblind ideal. It's asking that the next administration create a parent's Bill of Rights that schools have to abide by. And in this Bill of Rights includes the right to support and provide relief to parents who sue educational institutions for teaching or talking about critical race theory.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine you come home one day and your kid is telling you, yo, such and such got in trouble for that. Imagine the outrage. You talking about outrage as far as teaching it. It's going to be a whole different type of outrage.
Or teaching American history in any capacity that isn't celebratory of its total awesomeness.
AKA slavery. So what you telling me now is you can't talk about slavery in any way, shape, form, or fashion. No, you cannot, because it did not happen. It don't got nothing to do with it not helping you, or it ain't got nothing to do with, helping us in American policies. No, we don't want to hear about you talking about slavery. It don't got nothing to do with helping America.
I'm not kidding. They're arguing that teaching America's full history is equivalent to defending the false idea that America is systemically not as nice to some people as it is to other people. And to do so, to even teach that, is a violation of the parents' rights, and the parent should be allowed to sue with support of the federal government because of that. No problem with parents having rights, but for me, wait, how exactly does creating multiple realities through historical fiction create alignment, remove division, and better our country overall? I'm still waiting on that answer too, young Padawan. I'm still waiting on that answer too. Oh, by the way, this too is also happening. So I challenge young people to read this.
In case you didn't catch what was going on there, I'm going to pause it for you real quick. Back. So I've mentioned slavery to my children, but we teach our culture and history to our children. We have no interest in anything deeper than they were there, they were sold to us, we died freeing them, and now they're a huge pain in the ass and won't go away. Avoid them when you can. Wow. I'm speechless at that's the person's comment.
So I challenge young people to read this, post about it, talk about it, discuss it. To be totally fair, there are some things in the policy agenda that I agree with and can empathize with when I put myself in the shoes of a conservative. But what I have found is that it is often very short-lived because of the potential implications of such broad overreach that you start to realize is sure to happen by giving the president ultimate power in the way that this policy agenda suggests, specifically with the minimization of so many checks and balances. A lot of the plans outlined in this book are rooted in the taxpayer not paying attention. And I don't know about you, but I hate when a company's entire business model is banking on making the system so complicated or making it so hard to cancel that you just become so overwhelmed with the process that you just give up and let them take your money. Any business model that is dependent on your ignorance should not be a sustainable business model.
Agreed right there. That is the main thing that needs to be addressed. It has gotten to the point now to where they are going to manipulate it. You don't have a choice but to vote for Trump because you're going to want to. Now, of course, some of y'all are saying after all this, why would we vote for Trump, right? One of Trump's main arguing points is the whole invasion thing, right? So how does he make it so to where his point is actually getting across and the American people, including black people, people that we already know he's racist against among Spanish people, how do we get those people to say, oh, I want to vote for Trump, and not necessarily because, oh, Trump's just going to give us money. Because he's under a dictatorship does not mean he's going to give y'all any damn more money. That stimulus check was to get him in good graces of people. That's about it. Guy's still racist at the core. He's still racist at the core. And like I said, one of his main driving home points is the whole migrants are coming over, taking black jobs, and this, that, and the third, right? Why don't you listen to this? What I came across earlier.
And do you see a lot of shelters popping up here in the Bronx and other places around New York City? Yeah. And this might be one of the most secretive shelters here in all of Manhattan. Did you even know that that was a shelter right there?
No idea. I don't know what's going on. I might as well just turn to immigrant myself.
Here in New York City, over 200,000 migrants have arrived here inside the city, and there are secret shelters everywhere throughout the entire city. And I'm here with my mother, Brooker T. Jones, as we are going to investigate what is happening here.
Inside the 5 boroughs in New York City, there are over 200 shelters currently right now that are housing these migrants.
And just inside Manhattan, 1 out of every 5 hotels has been converted to a migrant shelter. And you may have known about popular shelters such as the Roosevelt Hotel. However, would you ever expect this building right here to be a shelter? About 20 stories up.
Little things like that just hiding right in plain sight. So majority, and I mean majority of the ones in Manhattan, the little low key spots, a lot of those places and hotels, those low key hotels have now been turned into homeless shelters randomly out of the fucking blue.
Each of these migrants are living for completely free here inside the city of New York. And in the upcoming minutes of this video, you're going to be seeing where New York City is housing all these migrants throughout the city. It will shock you because some of these places are pretty secretive. It's important to understand there are over potentially 1,000 migrants living in this one shelter. And this is one of the 2 island shelters New York City has created. Keep watching till the end of this video as we find the second
1,000 people living just in one shelter. 1,000 people. I could have even understood if they said 400 to 500. But for 1,000 people to fit into a one shelter like that, my God.
One as well. And how close are some shelters to main tourist attractions such as Times Square? We're legit 2 blocks away from Times Square. All the bikes are out. And it's another migrant shelter where all these people are living for completely free. And this is another migrant shelter here, Hotel 46 Times Square, 1 block away from Times Square. And I'm gonna send my mom in. She's going undercover. I had my mom go in as if she was going to get a room for the night.
And just like that, I got kicked out. It's a private business in there, shelter for migrants.
And just one more.
And again, she was going in there. This is a regular hotel. It's a regular hotel that you're looking at on Yelp. And you going in there to get a room and they kicking you out because it's a shelter. Think about that. You going to try to get a room for the night and it's a damn free shelter. And because you're not an immigrant, they kicking you right out.
Block away from Times Square is another migrant shelter that is 27 stories tall with over 1,300 rooms. And one of the main signs to tell if the hotel you're staying at or if the hotel around you here in New York City is a migrant shelter is if there are tons of mopeds and bikes laying outside of the hotel, because here they use all these bikes for delivery apps because there's a loophole with these delivery app companies that allows these migrants.
Now, of course, while we playing this, right? Again, Trump's main point that he keeps trying to drive home to get other races, mainly Black, Latina, to vote for him is because he wants to use it as a form of manipulation. How is he going to do that? By having people that think it is very unfair. Look at this particular situation here, for example.
Furniture for the shelter right now. As you can see, they are refurnishing the whole entire building, and we tried to get into the shelter, and this happened.
So what they were doing was pretty much free furniture was being brought, brand new furniture was being brought into the building. And it's a homeless shelter, of course. But this homeless shelter has actual hotel rooms. Remember, these are hotel rooms turned into a homeless shelter. So these hotel rooms have TVs, refrigerators, things of that nature, kitchen areas, some of them. These people are getting basically free apartments as home shelters with brand new furniture. Now, who does that affect?
Oh, have a good one. And just like that, get kicked right out of the shelter. I've been trying to get inside these shelters, but every single time I try to get in, that exact same thing happens. They come out with like 4 security guards and they kick me right out. So what do you think about this shelter that's right across the street here? They're getting brand new free furniture for the apartment.
Man, I don't know about that, because I think we need some brand new furniture in this building. We not getting that, but they coming down here getting free furniture, and that's not fair, Nick. And my name is Dick. Hello, and I think we need some new furniture in this building too. Since y'all immigrants is getting it free, we should get it as well.
And Dick, why do you think they try to keep it a secret from people that they're making these hotels into shelters?
I feel like they're trying to keep it a secret because they don't want others to know and like get a little jealous, but I'm getting jealous myself, and I feel like everybody should get the same treatment, and that's not unfair because we pay high rent and we should get free treatment as well. And I feel like them getting free treatment is like a little off from the citizens that was originally living here.
Last question, Dick.
Yes,
and who's going to be the best to solve this situation in the upcoming election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden?
My boy Donald Trump. Let's get it rolling. Yes, sir, skis.
Would you say the Bronx is for Trump?
Bronx for Trump. All the way. I'm going for Trump.
The Bronx is for Trump. I'm going for Trump all the way. You heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. And, of course, what is the main reason of choice behind Trump? He sees immigrants or migrants getting free furniture across the street from his apartment, where he's probably paying at the, I'm just going to say at the least on the guesstimate side in the Bronx, he's paying anywhere between, say, $900 to $1,200 right now for possibly a 1-bedroom bathroom situation. Okay? Understand what I'm talking about here. Someone paying between, at the least, at the cheapest in the city, even $800 to $900, all the way up to maybe $1,200, right? So say about that gap right there. That $9 to $12, right? That $900 to $1,200. For me to be paying even $900 a month, having the bills that I have, and then I look across the street and see nothing but migrants getting free furniture, wouldn't a person want to restore the balance? Right? In which he says, vote for Trump. You know who I'm voting for. I'm voting for Trump. The Bronx is for Trump. I'd put him in office right now if I could. You hearing him? This is a black man on crutches that has probably never even picked up Project 2025 or known what it is, for that matter. Or for how he sounds right now, might not even care.
Trump. Let's make America great again.
And what makes you like Donald Trump?
Donald Trump, he got this money.
As I said before, Donald Trump knows. He knows he can easily have the American people completely brainwashed. Now, another thing that we should get into, of course, is the fact that, once again, if we're talking about how he's pretty much going to be using that driving home point of invasion, let's go to that particular website, shall we? Let's once again look at that Biden bloodbath website. So, excuse me. So it says He's allowing vicious criminals into the United States, and innocent Americans across the country are paying the price. Lethal drugs, cartels, gangs, and terrorists are taking advantage of the crisis to enter the United States and threaten America. This is an invasion aided and abetted by Joe Biden, supported by Democrats who vote for his dangerous, cruel policies. This is Biden's border bloodbath. A vote for Biden is a vote for an invasion. Biden created the worst border crisis in U.S. history by unleashing his open border policies. He has embroidered illegal aliens and cartels as the invasion at the southern border continues at a breakneck pace. Biden could end this crisis today if he wanted to by reversing his executive actions or supporting House-passed legislation. He refuses to. We must win back the White House. To secure the border, a vote for Biden is a vote to allow criminals to evade our nation and attack Americans. Call bullshit on that for the simple fact that you, sir, are the main person that is going to be causing any type of bloodbath, any type of violence of that nature. Oh, so you mean our country's open border policy? Right. Like, the fact that he's, like I said, using, and this is why I shared the video of the migrants, because you hear a young black gentleman who has no idea probably of, or cares for that matter, of what Project 2025 even is. Because if he did, he would still say, okay, yeah, I'm seeing this right now, but I'm still not going to vote for Trump. I'm just still not voting for him. That's just never going to happen. That should have been the actual answer. But this is me. But so let's get into the meat and potatoes of things, right? So where was we at here? Just I don't want to lose the part right here. So recently, on the 4th of July, this is one of the main reasons why I was sharing Project 2025, is because it is a huge war on us. It is a huge war on just us in general. Get the fuck back. Shocking video of NYPD cops taking turns. Pummeling black man. Wow. A black man after he reportedly questioned them as he was about accosting a girl holding sparkling prompts outrage. So what actually happened was, and I'm going to read this article here. A viral video showing several NYPD officers beating a black man on the 4th of July began. The cops first approached the white man shooting off fireworks. And they spoke to him in a cordial manner about the legalities of fireworks and under New York state law, blah, 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 right? So they went up to the white guy and pretty much was talking to him cordial, didn't want any issues, this, that, and third, right? But the same cops became much more aggressive when they spotted the 18-year-old black woman wearing a hoodie holding a sparkler in her hand, which happens to be very legal in New York City. They tackled the girl because they saw a black person in a hoodie and thought it was a gangster. Are we back in 1995 again? They tackled the girl because they thought she was a gangster in a hoodie. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So what ended up happening was this. You hear him saying what the fuck? Like,
He give out that money. We need that check again. Hello.
and I apologize for anybody that is triggered by seeing that footage right there. You can hear the young man pretty much crying in agony. The man was pretty much crying in agony, saying, "Come the fuck on, man. Come the fuck on, man." He was pretty much hands being tied behind his back in cuffs as they were pretty much just beating the living shit out of him for absolutely no reason. Just beating the shit out of him because he asked. All because he asked. Why did you jump that girl? Why did the police jump a girl just holding a sparkler with her baby? That right there was just uncalled for, beyond uncalled for. Like, you really can't. My whole thing is you can't be serious, right? You jumped, and not even jumped as much as y'all were literally like, and I don't want to keep playing this, but it's the simple fact that how many cops did it need to be for that? It didn't need to be 5, 6, 7 cops doing that. That was all because he questioned and asked police, why are you hitting that girl? This is why I keep saying it's a war on us, for the simple fact that if this is just happening at such a frequent rate right now, you can only imagine. You can only imagine the type of racist acts you're going to start seeing in regards to Project 2025 being imminent now. Because the fact that you can now be openly racist and no one give a shit is going to be the kicker that I don't think anybody realizes. That's going to be the kicker. When you are absolutely able to be racist and nobody gives a shit. Think about that. You can actually say the N-word and they'll be like, oh, how did he use it? What was in the form that he used it? Was it in the form of, was it derogatory or was it something else? No, it's offensive to my entire ancestry. Oh, whose ancestry? It's not America's ancestry. Nothing to do with America's ancestry. So why do you need it? Why? Now, real quick, another thing that let me see. So, again, it's a war on us, right? It's a war on us. Not worried about Biden giving Ukraine all your tax money. No. No. I am not. In regards to that matter. I am not. But the simple fact that I would rather that than dictatorship. Much rather that than dictatorship. That's another thing. Forget Iowa. Forget where I'm going even. It's time to leave this country. I am seriously considering Africa. I'm seriously considering moving to Tokyo or something like that. That's my two options. I'm staying away from Australia because I don't like bugs as it is. They got spiders the size of my head. I'm okay. But I'm seriously considering Tokyo or Africa, for that matter. And I don't know what this is right here, but Republican candidate tells Black Americans to leave U.S. in Juneteenth message. Yes, you read that there right. Republican candidate tells Black Americans to leave U.S. in Juneteenth message. So a Republican candidate from I didn't even realize this is where I'm going to. A Republican candidate for Missouri Secretary of State has. Wait a minute. She's a candidate for Missouri Secretary of State. I hope that's not. Lord have mercy. I hope they don't select her. Has told Black Americans who do not like the country to kindly leave in a video posted on the eve of Juneteenth. Valentina Gomez, who previously caused an outrage for urging voters not to be weak and gay, accused the federal holiday commemorating the end of slavery in the U.S. of being the most wretched holiday, and that Black people should no longer be seeking reparations. The video from Gomez, a staunch Donald Trump supporter, arrived days after the former president's 2024 campaign team announced a Black Americans for Trump initiative to try to persuade African Americans to support the Republican in November's race against Joe Biden. The coalition includes Byron Donalds of Florida, of all places, and South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. Gomes posted her latest video on Twitter attacking Juneteenth, saying, "If you don't like America, get the fuck out of here." And this would be that Instagram post.
Reparations from slavery and Black victimization is about to be shot.
First of all, besides the fact that you dissing Black people, you had the nerve to have BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy is your background music.
Reparations from slavery and Black victimization is about to be.
Y'all hear that shit? You got BBL Drizzy as your intro. As your background music. This world coming to.
Reparations from slavery and Black to be shoved down our throats for the most wretched holiday in America. BLM raised millions, but what did they do for Black lives? It is outrageous to see people asking for reparations, even though they never went through slavery. These ungrateful people should be celebrated because they were born in the greatest nation.
These ungrateful people.
Here's a tip. If you don't like America, kindly get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out was her words, as she had the nerve to use the BBL Drizzy for her background. This is the shit that we got to think about that we have in America. I don't know about y'all. But more and more, I don't know why I brought that one back. More and more, I keep saying to myself, Jesus is going to hit the reset button very soon, if he hasn't already thought about it. I'm just telling you right now. Jesus got his hand on the reset button. Okay? The reset button. Because we have gone to complete shit. And I'm not talking about even behind the scenes things with politics. I'm talking about as a human damn race. We have completely gone to shit. With the amount of different things that is going on in society, that is happening right in plain sight and running up our faces in real time now. I never would have thought I'd see this type of day where the racism is just so blatant and open out there. This is just, it's getting beyond carried away. And this is why I said at the beginning of some of those clips, I apologize if this is triggering now, but literally, we've been almost desensitized and reprogrammed to think this shit is alright to even see. And it's not. In no way, shape, form, or fashion it is okay for me to feel or even see a brother getting beat down the way he was, and that wasn't no regular thing. Like I said, it was nasty work her having BBL Drizzy in the background, but the fact that, like I said, it's now becoming a regular thing for us to see that we are hated so much. It's the part that I'm getting at. It is a huge war on black people right now, and it feels like, if y'all remember the South Park movie where they were saying Operation Shield, and Operation Shield consisted of all the black troops, and then Chef Goes, plays by Isaac Hayes, of course, my guy. Chef goes, okay, guys, just how we heard. 1, 2, 3, and they dive out the damn way and go, Operation Shield my ass. That's what it's starting to feel like right here. That we need to say Operation Shield my ass and get on back to where things should be and not where they're headed. Because the whole MAGA system, or whatever have you, the whole conservative system, is proving to be a headache with this whole ideology of dictatorship going on. The darker or the higher or the difficult. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Let me read some of these here. We got King Osmond, pretty much Fury B in here. I see Smoking Pride 416. What it do? Not gonna lie, I fuck with this page enough, but if you don't vote Trump, you are tripping. Well, you have your right to your opinion, Smoke. You have your right to your opinion, my brother. You have your right to your opinion there. This pod is not to coerce anybody. Let me also say that for disclaimer purposes. This pod is not, I repeat, it is not to coerce or tell people who to vote for. I am here to inform you on who you are voting for. That is all I'm here to do. I'm not here to tell you who you want to vote for and put the ballot in for the vote for. I am here to tell you who. Again, I'm here to tell you who you are voting for, if that is your selection. Only here to keep people informed as much as I can with topics like this. Because at the end of the day, those political games are a motherfucker. The political games are a motherfucker. And speaking of political games, hold on, because I almost forgot this one. Hold on, I almost forgot this. I thought I had this up. Speaking of political games, we're going to keep this one big. Matter of fact. Excuse me. Diddy's mom last night was hospital. I don't know if it was last night. I think it was okay. Yes, it was yesterday morning actually, or 2 days ago. Diddy's mom hospitalized suffering chest pains. Says Diddy's mother is hospitalized in South Florida after experiencing chest pains. TMZ has learned Janice Combs was rushed to the hospital on Wednesday after she complained about discomfort in her chest. According to sources close to Diddy, it's still unclear exactly what caused the pain, but we're told she's going to remain in the hospital for at least another day, which would mean by now she actually is out. Our sources say Diddy was in Miami at the time, and at his mom's request, went to the hospital to be by her side. We're told Janice believes the pain is related to stress over her son's legal woes. Let me say this for you, Janice. I had a child and he had 10 lawsuits all saying that he raped people. I'd be stressed out too. I'm just saying. Including the federal, and on top of the videotape, and on top of you seeing someone that you thought was damn near your daughter-in-law. Your son was just dragging up down the aisle with a towel hanging on for dear Jesus. Maybe that's why you stressed out. Got chest pains. Including federal investigation and multiple civil lawsuits. You might as well just say multiple and not even say the whole damn number of 14. That's going to piss some people off. Janice lives in Miami, but at her own residence. Not with her son, but she famously raised on her own. She has been spending time with him in Miami in the months since the federal raids on his homes. For several weeks, Diddy circled the wagons and rarely only spent time with his family members like Janice and the kids for the most part. And we are told doctors are keeping her hospitalized another night for further testing and observation. Diddy is still there and with her. As the source put it, he's her comfort in this. Now, let me also say, we are all childs of God. We all have moms out there. We all have moms out there, right? But, let me just particularly say about this particular situation about mom and son, is that in the event of, hypothetically now, in the event of a scenario like the administration, slipped up, so to speak, and in the event of Janice Combs passing, who gets everything? Who gets everything? Pardon me, by the way, I forgot to say it earlier. Y'all hit his fan. But who gets it? Does Justin automatically get it, even though everything's already in his name? I don't think so. Justin got enough legal woes, don't he? I mean, as a matter of fact, the only people he could leave it into, and it's not even time to anymore, would be twins, right? Just saying. In the event something happened too. I wish, no, R. Kelly, I wish that Diddy's mom would actually be the one to come clean on everything. And like I said, if Diddy's mom were to pass, yeah, all that publishing, where the fuck does it go? If Diddy's mom, unfortunately, were to pass, that is my only hops right there. For everything to be, like May said, to be in her name, right? I really do find it a little bit odd. Just find it a little bit Now, on top of those chest pains are happening. Among other things, your main objective for Diddy is to make sure you hold it down and nobody knows shit because everything's in your name. But what happens when you're not able to withhold that? What happens now if Diddy is not able to withhold that? I rest my case there. Because you have to be moving smarter in that regard. And I would think the times that you was spending with her in Miami, you would have been thinking about these things. Not saying I'm going to continue to do what I've been doing and, just don't even care like that. There's plenty of situations like that too. But too many situations like that. Diddy, my advice to you, sir, spend as much time as you can with your mom. Because November is coming around the motherfucking bend. And all I keep hearing about is they got a jury ready, investigators ready, detectives are ready. Hell, every damn lawyer you could think of right now is probably more in the best space than anything. Gene Deal talked about, yeah. Mentioned not being worried about killing her before. He's got to get that money to the Caymans. I believe he's cashing out. Yeah. Yeah. Because just sold the home. Now you done sold the home. Right? Now you out here trying to sell your crib on the black market. And it's not working out for you so well either. Like I said, Diddy is in way more of a pickle than anybody could ever have imagined. I said before, yo, how much I want to bet we get the 10 lawsuits by November? We got the 10 lawsuits by damn near July. Got the wet in July. Just saying, y'all. Just saying. The world is wilding out. It ain't just, I'm saying, ain't just Trump. The world is wilding out. The whole world is wilding right now, yo. And this the type of shit that you ask yourself, like, how do you, God bless anybody that has children, yo. That's the main thing I want to say about this part right here. God bless to anybody that has children. God bless to any and everybody that has children in here. Everybody. Because it ain't easy out here to raise kids in this type of society, in this environment, among other things that is going on in the world. Project 2025 is going to make it hard for you to be a parent if you are pro-Trump, to be honest with you. For the simple fact that, as we went over before, if we are talking about, going there, not a lot of people want dictatorship. I am keeping it, all the way real there. That's just my thing. That is just my thing, y'all. And y'all may or may not see me tomorrow night. We might do a late night chill. Depending upon what happens. As I said at the beginning of the week, it was a slow news week, but it picked up a little bit. But everybody, especially but my black people, but everybody involved, keep your head on the swivel out here. As the OGs always told us, keep your head on the swivel.
It's gonna be some stuff you're gonna see that's gonna make it hard to smile in the future. But through whatever you see, through all the rain and the pain,
stay safe, y'all.
You gotta keep your sense of humor. Gotta be able to smile through all this.
Until next time. Peace.
Keep your head up. Yeah.
Our lifestyles be closed caption, addicted to fatal attractions. Pictures and actions be played back in the midst of mashing. No fairy tales for this young black male. Some see me stranded in this land of hell, jail and crack sales. Hustle and hardly think of culture or the repercussions while busting on backstabbing vultures. Selling my soul for material wishes, fast cars and bitches. Wishing I lived my life a legend, immortalized in pictures. Watching tears say no sympathy. My childhood years were spent burying my peers in the cemetery. Here's a message to the newborns waiting to breathe. If you believe, then you can achieve. Just look at me, against all odds. Though life is hard, we carry on. Living in the projects, broke with no lights on. To all the seas that follow me, protect your essence. Born with less, but you still precious. Just smile for me now. Smile for me now. Smile. Look at all I'm saying. Nigga, you black. Smile for me now. You ain't got nothing to be worried about. No doubt. Smile for me now.
What you talking about?
And the next generation. Now as I open up my story, conviction points no longer be free as I run, and I can walk through the days that are gone. I wish that I could save everyone, but I'm a dreamer. That's the
Chill,